Most people think poor sleep is the real danger. It is not. What actually puts you at risk happens in the first few seconds after you wake up. There is a simple morning action that millions of adults over 60 do automatically without ever questioning it. But recent findings suggest this one habit could sharply increase the chances of a serious heart event right at the most vulnerable time of day. Not your diet, not your medications, something you do before you even sit up in bed. And here is what makes it worse. Almost no one warns you about it. Stay with me because by the end of this video, I will show you a small morning adjustment that costs nothing and takes no effort. Yet researchers found it can significantly lower that early morning risk. The problem is most people either do it wrong or skip it entirely. I am Dr. Grace Adebayo, and I have spent over a decade treating heart disease in older adults. Today, I am going to tell you exactly what that mistake is, why it is so dangerous after 60, and what to do instead starting tomorrow morning. Because what you do in the first 60 seconds after you wake up may be the single most important cardiovascular decision you make all day. Heart attacks are 40% more likely to occur between 6 and 10 in the morning than at any other time of day. 40%. That is not a small statistical difference. That is a pattern so consistent and so well documented that cardiologists have given it a name. We call it the morning surge. And for anyone over 60, that surge does not just arrive quietly, it arrives like a wave hitting a wall that has already been weakening for years. Now, most people assume that if they feel fine in the morning, their heart is fine. No chest pain, no dizziness, no breathlessness. They feel the way they always feel. So they do what they always do. They hear the alarm and they get up. Fast. Feet on the floor. Stand up. Move. That is the mistake. Not the getting up, not the moving, the speed, the abruptness. That 30 to 35 second transition from lying flat to standing and walking, done quickly, done without preparation, done the way most of us have done it our entire lives, is one of the most dangerous moments in the cardiovascular day for a person over 60. And here is what makes this so hard to recognize. It does not feel dangerous. It has never felt dangerous, which is exactly why nobody has told you to change it. Let me explain what is actually happening inside your body while you sleep, because this is the part your doctor almost certainly has not had time to explain in a 15-minute appointment. While you sleep, your body runs on what I call a maintenance schedule. Your heart rate slows down, your blood pressure drops by 10 to 20%, your arteries relax, your blood thickens slightly because you have gone 7 or 8 hours without drinking any water. Your body temperature decreases. Your nervous system shifts into its quietest, lowest demand setting. Think of it like a furnace that has been turned down overnight to conserve energy. The house is cooler, everything is still, and that is healthy. That is exactly what your cardiovascular system needs. But here is what happens the moment you begin waking up, even before your eyes open. Your body detects the coming transition and starts flooding your bloodstream with stress hormones. Cortisol begins rising sharply about an hour before you wake up. Adrenaline follows. Your heart rate starts climbing. Your blood pressure begins its ascent. Your blood clotting factors, the proteins that help form clots, reach their peak activity levels in the early morning hours. This hormonal surge exists for a reason. It is your body preparing you for the demands of the day. In a younger person with flexible, elastic arteries and a fast-responding nervous system, this transition is managed smoothly. But after 60, the picture is completely different. Your arteries are stiffer. The elastic tissue that once allowed them to expand and absorb pressure has been partially replaced by collagen. Collagen does not flex, it resists. Your blood pressure sensors, the baroreceptors embedded in your artery walls, respond more slowly than they did 20 years ago. Your blood is already thicker than it should be because of overnight dehydration. And now you swing your legs over the side of the bed and stand up in under 5 seconds. In that moment, gravity pulls a significant volume of blood down toward your legs and abdomen. Your heart scrambles to compensate, spiking its rate and output. Blood pressure surges. Your coronary arteries, already slightly constricted from the morning hormonal wave, are suddenly being asked to deliver a dramatically increased blood supply to a heart that is working at full demand after hours of near rest. for a heart with any degree of plaque buildup, and studies suggest that over 80% of adults over 60 have measurable coronary plaque. That surge of pressure and demand can crack a vulnerable plaque. A cracked plaque triggers an immediate clotting response, and a clot in a coronary artery is a heart attack. For a heart with any weakness in the electrical system, that same surge can trigger a dangerous arrhythmia. This is what happened to Harold, not because he was unhealthy, not because he was careless, because he stood up too fast on top of a cardiovascular system that was already under morning pressure. Here's the question I want you to honestly answer for yourself. When your alarm goes off, how long does it take you to go from lying flat to standing and moving? If the answer is under 30 seconds, this message is for you. If you are finding this information valuable, please take a moment right now to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell. Every day, I share medically grounded guidance designed specifically for adults over 60. You deserve to have this kind of information, and I want to make sure you never miss it. The 30 to 35 second morning mistake is not one action. It is a cluster of small, rapid actions that stack cardiovascular stress on top of cardiovascular stress in the most dangerous window of the entire day. Let me walk you through what a typical morning looks like for most people over 60, and I want you to notice how many of these apply to you. The alarm sounds. You are immediately alert, or you are groggy and moving anyway. Within seconds, you sit up. Within a few more seconds, you swing your legs over the side and stand. You may walk quickly to the bathroom. You may splash cold water on your face, which triggers an immediate vascular constriction response throughout the body. You may reach for your phone and see a frustrating email or a news headline, triggering a cortisol spike on top of the cortisol spike already in progress. Within minutes, you may take your blood pressure medication with just a sip of water and a mostly empty stomach. Every single one of those actions, individually, seems harmless. Together, stacked inside a 60-second window on top of the morning hormonal surge, on top of overnight dehydration, on top of the natural peak in blood clotting activity, they represent a serious and unnecessary cardiovascular assault. Here is what nobody tells you. The transition from sleep to full activity is the most physiologically demanding transition your cardiovascular system makes in a 24-hour period. And after 60, that system does not have the same resilience it once did to absorb the shock of doing it abruptly. But here is the genuinely hopeful part of this conversation. You do not need a prescription to fix this. You do not need surgery. You do not need a new supplement or a gym membership. You need about 4 additional minutes each morning and the right sequence of movements. That is it. Let me tell you about a patient I will call Dorothy, 73 years old, a retired nurse of all things, someone who knew medicine well and took her health seriously. Dorothy was on 2 blood pressure medications, walked 30 minutes every afternoon, and had been managing what her cardiologist called well-controlled hypertension for 8 years. She came to see me after waking up one morning with what she described as a strange heaviness in her chest that lasted about 4 minutes and then disappeared completely. She almost did not call. She almost convinced herself it was indigestion. Her daughter made her come in. Her stress test showed changes that concerned me. We talked for a long time about her daily routine, and when we got to her morning habits, she described exactly what I had come to recognize. Up fast, cold water on the face immediately, strong coffee within 10 minutes, phone in hand before she had even fully cleared the sleep from her eyes. I asked her one question. Do you ever feel dizzy or slightly lightheaded when you first stand up? She paused and said, yes, sometimes, for just a second. I thought everyone felt that. That brief dizziness is a signal. It is your brain telling you that blood pressure dropped faster than your body could compensate when you stood. For most people, it passes quickly and they dismiss it. For a person with underlying plaque or a vulnerable heart, that same drop and the compensatory surge that follows can be the triggering event. Dorothy changed her morning routine. She made 4 simple adjustments that I am about to share with you. She has not had another episode of chest heaviness in 16 months. Her story did not end on an operating table, and I want the same for you. Here is your new morning protocol. I want you to take this seriously, not as optional information, but as a cardiovascular tool that is available to you every single morning for free. Before you move a single muscle, breathe first. When your alarm goes off, do not move your body. Not yet. Stay exactly where you are and take 3 slow, controlled breaths. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts. Exhale through your mouth for 6 counts. Repeat 3 times. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the calming branch, and begins to counteract the cortisol surge before it peaks. It takes less than 60 seconds, and it changes your neurological state before you make any physical demand of your heart. Hydrate before you stand. Before your feet touch the floor, drink a full glass of water. Keep it on your nightstand. Fill it the night before. 8 ounces, room temperature. After 7 or 8 hours without fluid, your blood is measurably thicker and more prone to clotting. That single glass of water begins thinning your blood and gives your cardiovascular system something to work with before the demands of standing and moving begin. This is not a wellness suggestion. This is a cardiovascular intervention. Sit before you stand and sit for a full 60 seconds. Roll to your side, push yourself up slowly, and sit on the edge of the bed. Do not rush to stand. While you sit, rotate your ankles in slow circles 5 times in each direction. This activates the calf muscle pump, pushing blood back toward the heart and helping your blood pressure stabilize before the full challenge of standing upright. 60 seconds sitting. That is all. And in those 60 seconds, your baroreceptors have time to recalibrate, your heart rate settles into a rhythm it can manage, and the pressure differential between lying and standing becomes far less dramatic. Stand slowly and pause before walking. When you do stand, do it at half the speed you normally would. Place both feet flat on the floor. Rise gradually, then stand still for 10 to 15 seconds before you take your first step. Let your blood pressure confirm its new position. Let your legs signal that they have adequate flow. If you feel any dizziness or lightheadedness at this stage, sit back down immediately and call your doctor. That symptom in the morning is not something to normalize. Take cold water off your face in the morning. I know this sounds like a small thing, but it matters. Cold water on the face triggers the cold shock response, causing immediate vascular constriction throughout the body. On top of the morning hormonal surge, this is an unnecessary additional stress. Warm water does not trigger that response. One simple swap. Give yourself 20 minutes before any vigorous activity. If you exercise in the morning, and I strongly encourage you to do so, do not begin with intensity. Walk first. Stretch gently. Allow your body a full 20 minutes to fully transition out of sleep physiology before you raise your heart rate significantly. This is not weakness. This is intelligent engineering. Let me leave you with the 5 things I want you to carry from this conversation. First, the most dangerous cardiovascular moment of your day is not during exercise, not after a heavy meal, not in a moment of stress. It is the 30 to 35 seconds after you wake up if you rush through that transition. Second, breathe before you move. 3 slow, controlled breaths before you do anything else. This single habit changes the neurological state you bring to the rest of your morning. Third, water before your feet touch the floor. Room temperature, a full glass. On your nightstand tonight. Fourth, sit on the edge of the bed for 60 full seconds before you stand. Rotate your ankles. Let your pressure stabilize. Do not rush this step. Fifth, if you experience dizziness when you stand in the morning, chest heaviness, an unusual sense of breathlessness, or your heart beating in a way that feels irregular, do not wait. Call your doctor. That symptom deserves a real clinical answer, not a self-reassurance. Harold's wife told me something after he passed. She said the hardest part was knowing he had no idea anything was wrong, that it happened on a perfectly ordinary Tuesday, that he was planning to call their daughter that afternoon. I carry that with me because you are here, reading this, watching this, caring enough about your health to seek out this kind of information. That matters. And the changes I have described today are not complicated. They do not require a doctor's visit or a new prescription. They require 4 minutes, a glass of water, and a willingness to change a habit that has felt normal your entire life. Your heart has been working for you every minute of every day since before you were born. It has carried you through grief and joy, through decades of demands you never fully appreciated. Give it 4 minutes in the morning. It is a fair trade. Now I want to hear from you. When you woke up this morning, how did you do it? Fast and automatic or slow and deliberate? Tell me in the comments. Your answer will help me understand what to address next, and it might remind someone else to rethink their morning too. If this conversation gave you something worth keeping, please share it. Send it to someone you love who is over 60, a spouse, a sibling, a friend. They may not know to look for this information. You do, and that share might be the most important thing you do today. Take care of your heart. It has never asked for anything but your attention. Everything I have shared today is general medical information based on current cardiovascular research and my clinical experience as a physician. It is not a substitute for personalized medical advice. Every person's situation is unique. Before making any changes to your morning routine, your medication schedule, or your exercise habits, please speak with your own doctor. If you are experiencing any cardiac symptoms, do not delay. Seek care immediately. Your physician knows your full medical history and is your most important partner in this.